AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 on the road to Forbidden Door. We opened up the show with an AEW World Title match. Shout out, by the way, to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Thank you for your viewership and support. We had a pre-show interview that was shown with Roosh. He talked about how he was waiting 3 years to get a chance at the AEW World Title. He said he would die in the ring if that's what it took to win. MJF got in his face and slapped him. Roosh attacked MJF. Security had to break these guys up. We found out that this match was going to be a no count out match. DQs were still in play, but no countouts for this because of their pre-show brawl. A little strange, but okay. We had a second interview with Roosh. This was a live interview, and Andrade came over, gave him a pep talk, told him to do it for his family. We had the match. MJF was wearing a Matador outfit, and he had Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, say that the fans put the Virgin in Virginia. That was pretty funny. Match was back and forth. MJF spit on Roosh, so Roosh went right after MJF. They fought on the outside. MJF got back body dropped over the barricade onto the timekeeper's table. And then after the commercial break, MJF exposed the top turnbuckle and sent Roosh into it. Roosh was busted open. MJF targeted the wound, and the ref stopped him from using the turnbuckle again. So Roosh pushed MJF into it, and then MJF regained the advantage. He put on the Salt of the Earth submission. Roosh reversed it. He gave MJF a pile driver on the apron. The medical trainer wanted to stop the match, but Roosh headbutted him. And then Roosh continued with his offense. We had another break. Roosh delivered the horns to MJF, but MJF got his hand on the rope. And then Roosh went for the horns again on the outside, but he crashed and burned into the barricade. And then MJF gave him a tombstone pile driver on the broken piece of barricade. And then back in the ring, Roosh made one last ditch effort to make a comeback, but MJF ultimately applied a crossface submission, and Roosh, rather than tapping out, passed out, did not give up, but he did lose. MJF, still your AEW World Champion. Very good match here. Obviously, MJF was not losing this one, but Roosh put up a good fight. Then we had MJF attempting to attack him with the championship post-match, but Mark Briscoe ran down, and he got a low blow from MJF. The conglomeration ran down to make sure Briscoe didn't get hurt, and then that led to Mark Briscoe versus Lio Rush. I like Lio Rush's new gimmick. I know it's over the top and silly, but I'm all for it, and hey, it's giving him some TV time. Good for him. He was doing his weird stuff. He was jumping around on all fours. Briscoe eventually got the upper hand with a neck breaker on the floor, coming off the apron. And then after the break, it was competitive for a bit, but Briscoe ultimately got the win with his move, the cutthroat driver. And then after the match, he cut a promo on MJF. He reflected on his brother's death, debuting with AEW, being angry, but AEW was his therapy. But then MJF brought the rage out of him. He beat MJF. MJF disappeared and then came back again, and the rage from Briscoe returned. He says MJF has what he wants, the AEW World Title, and he told MJF to prove he's the best and give him a title shot. Good promo here for Mark Briscoe, although this is pretty much a filler program. I think we all know Briscoe's going to lose to MJF as MJF heads on the road to All In London. We had a video package hyping up Kevin Knight versus Mike Bailey, Speedball Bailey. And then we had Tekla, the AEW Women's World Champion, with the Sisters of Sin. They were walking through the crowd, and Tekla was cutting this promo. They went up by the stage. Tekla said Sky Blue was going to win the Owen Hart tournament. Julia Hart was going to win the TBS title. And then Tekla was going to close the forbidden door. She brought up Stardom, how she got banned from Japan. She's declaring death to Stardom. And she climbed up a ladder and spit on the Stardom logo. So she means business. She is pissed off at Stardom. I don't know if they're doing a ladder match or not. I mean, maybe the ladder was just there so she could climb up and spit on the logo, but we'll see. I'm not sure where that's going, but I would figure she's fighting somebody from Stardom at Forbidden Door and probably winning. We had a backstage segment where Jon Moxley gave a pep talk to Will Ospreay. I do not like this storyline. I am so tired of the Death Riders. I say it every week. This is one of those segments where if it wasn't my job, click, I'd be changing the channel. We had Andrade winning a quick squash match, and he cut a post-match promo, and he said he wants the AEW World title, so I guess he'll be the next guy to be fed to MJF. MJF's got his opponents for the next month or so. He's got Andrade. He's got Mark Briscoe. Like Darby Allin, he'll get through those guys before he has his next big match. We'll see if it's at Forbidden Door or not. Then we had Don Callis and Jake Doyle coming down. And sit down, everybody, for this one. Don Callis announced the newest member of the Don Callis family. Member number 78, we have Kevin Knight joining the Don Callis family. Why are they doing this? Why do we need 20 guys in the Don Callis family? Kevin Knight should be on his own. I know he's a heel and all that, but come on. Anyways, I thought he did a good job with his heel promo last week, so why is he in a group where he has a mouthpiece now? I don't know. I'm so tired of it. And Don Callis keeps losing his teeth in every promo. Like, I'm over the Don Callis family, too. We need some new factions at this point. I'm over the Don Callis family. I'm over the Death Riders. I just don't care about these guys. You know, it's not even good heat. And I guess the Death Riders are faces again. I never know. 1 week they're heels, 1 week they're faces. At least Don Callis and his family are consistent. So we had Knight versus Bailey. Not talking about LA Knight and WWE Bailey. We're talking about Kevin Knight and Speedball Bailey. I just like to call him Speedball. Knight was very aggressive, as a heel would be, and Bailey had to use his speed. He did this corkscrew moonsault to the outside, got him back in the ring, but Knight gained the upper hand, and the crowd was chanting, "You sold out." Bailey kept trying to get back in it, but Knight kept the momentum going. Eventually, Bailey made a comeback and was on the verge of winning, and that's when we got the interference. Doyle got on the apron, distracting the referee, and Don Callis knocked Bailey off the top rope, and Knight capitalized and picked up the win with the Uranagi, the rock bottom, the bookend, whatever you want to call it. Kevin Knight defeats Bailey, Speedball Bailey, with some help from the Don Callis family. Match was solid. It was a good match. And then afterwards, he cut a promo and said he's coming for MJF. There you go. We have a lot of people still in contention for the world title, which I do like. I think that's a good idea to keep several people wanting to go for the title. I mean, really, shouldn't everybody be going for the main title? Backstage, we had the Dogs bragging about beating up Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. and they were confronted by the Young Bucks, and the Bucks wanted a match, but the Dogs ended up declining. Then we had a backstage promo with MJF. He was taking a bath as Renee Paquette interviewed him, and thankfully he was wearing his trunks. You know, the cameraman was kind of panning down, and we could see that MJF was in fact wearing trunks. Might have been funny if he wasn't. MJF said no title match for Mark Briscoe. No can do, because the title is only for top guys like MJF. But I guess in a matter of weeks, Briscoe will find a way to get that match. I just have a sneaking suspicion on that. Next up, we had Alex Windsor in an Owen Hart tournament match. She was supposed to face Willow Nightingale, but Willow was injured, or is injured, and we had a wild card substitute who turned out to be Matthew's favorite wrestler in the chat room. Matthew just loves her. Mercedes Moné is back in AEW. Jeez. Botch. She's back in AEW. Mercedes Moné gone for like 5 months or so, since the end of 2025. She has new music. She seemed a little bit more humbled. I do feel like this is a babyface turn for her. The crowd gave her a pretty good response, and she was playing to the crowd during the match. So I do think that this is a face turn for her. And she had a good match here with Alex Windsor. Mercedes dominated a good portion of it. Windsor tried to escape a crossface. Mercedes took her out with a backstabber and then did a Meteora on the floor. And then after the break, Windsor got in some offense. They traded near falls, but then Mercedes hit the backstabber, followed by the statement maker submission, and got the victory to officially advance in the Owen Hart tournament. And she does have the Owen title since she won it last year. So she posed with her Owen title. She does have that one still. And I guess she is technically defending it in this tournament, since if she doesn't win, somebody else will be the Owen Hart champion. Good to see her back, I suppose. I mean, I've always felt that she gets hated too much by the internet. We'll see if the babyface turn works out for her. I mean, she was gone for a while. She lost the titles. She's been humbled. I think there's a pretty good chance she's going to beat Tekla at All In London. I just have a sneaking suspicion that that will be the case, and we'll see if the fans keep cheering her. We had a backstage segment with Don Callis and Okada. Don Callis hyped up Mark Davis versus Will Ospreay in the Owen Hart match, and then Okada had a word about Takeshita, said that Takeshita is nothing without the Don Callis family. Now, before the main event, we had Ciampa cutting a backstage promo, and they showed footage from Collision where he gave his 1,004 reasons why he hated Chris Jericho. He had the long list, a throwback to WCW. And he talked about how Jericho was recovering at home from the beatdown, and he warned Jericho to stay away. Good promo here from Ciampa, setting up the next storyline with Jericho. Shout out to Dave Scheffler, who sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Dave. I appreciate it. Dave says, not sure if the face turn she did heelish moves and kept the statement maker on after the match. Only the crowd can turn Moné face. That is true. She did keep the move on afterwards, which could be a sign that maybe she's not fully face yet, or maybe they just wanted to test the waters in this match. But the fact that she did get a good reaction probably means she's going face. And I know people have said, Steve-O pointed out in the chat, she's never been a good face. I think she's done well. I think that as a face, she's probably best not cutting a lot of promos unless they feel organic and not something that's overly scripted and feels fake. The jury's out on that. I mean, she's had some time as a heel, and I think the face turn is a good change of pace for her, just to give her something different for her character. And again, we'll see how it goes. But Tekla's a heel, so I think you got to have Mercedes as a face if she's going for the title. And I do think she's winning the tournament. I mean, the only other person I could see winning is Athena, and yeah, I think it's pretty clear Mercedes is winning, and I would be surprised if somebody else wins it. We had our main event, Will By God Ospreay versus Mark Davis, a rematch from a couple of months ago. Davis had a win over Ospreay, and Davis was targeting the neck. Ospreay, though, stayed in the fight. They brawled on the outside for a bit. Ospreay ended up being slammed spine first on the announce desk. And then after the break, Davis hit a pile driver. Ospreay kicked out, and then he tried another one on the apron, but Ospreay was able to counter that. He got Davis back in the ring, hit the Styles Clash, but Davis kicked out, and then the referee accidentally got knocked down, and that's when we got our shenanigans. A lot of shenanigans here. So first, we had him hit the hidden blade, but there was no ref. Then a couple of the Don Callis family guys came out. Then the Death Riders showed up. Then we had Ospreay hitting the Oz Cutter. Referee was brought back in, but then got pulled out again by Jake Doyle. And then as the guys fought backstage, Marina Shafir got on Doyle's back, only for Jon Moxley to show up, lay out Doyle with the paradigm shift. And then Kyle Fletcher showed up, and Kyle, he had a screwdriver. He was going to use the screwdriver, but then Takeshita showed up and attacked Fletcher, and Ospreay knocked the screwdriver out of Davis's hand as he was going to use it. And then he hit another one. Another referee ran down, but Davis managed to kick out of that. So then Ospreay hit another hidden blade. Actually, he went for it and missed, I should say. And then Davis delivered another pile driver. So one last ditch effort from Davis, but Ospreay kicked out. And then Ospreay countered him, put on the submission that he learned from the great Jon Moxley, and he got the tap out victory. It was a good match, but it was a bit much at the end of it with all the run-ins and everything. And I think we all knew Ospreay was winning this one, but it was a good match. And that concluded Dynamite. Ospreay is now in the finals. No surprise to anybody. I mean, it's going to be him and Swerve most likely. I would be shocked if Swerve doesn't make it to the final. That'll be at Forbidden Door. All in all, I thought Dynamite was good. I'm just really struggling to get into the Death Riders. Like, it is go away heat for me. If you guys out there love the Death Riders, I'm happy for you. More power to you. It's go away heat for me. But the wrestling, as usual, good on the show. I liked the opening match. I thought the main event was good. You did have a lot of craziness at the end, but that was fine. They were setting up several storylines and feuds. And, you had Mercedes coming back. You had that moment. I did think it was a pretty good show. So I will go 7 out of 10 for this one because you had the Mercedes return and you had some good promos on the show too. Like it was a very solid episode of Dynamite, but I'm just wanting the Death Riders to not be a thing and Ospreay with them. I'm just struggling to get into that, but everything else I enjoyed. And, Kevin Knight and the Don Callis family, I don't know, man. I feel like he's just going to be another guy in the group in 6 months, but we'll see. Anyways, that's all I got for tonight. Again, I appreciate everybody's viewership. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and spread the word about the NoDQ YouTube channel. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will be back Friday around 5 p.m. Eastern, the usual time for the European tour dates. We got SmackDown in Europe again, so I will be on early. Tune in and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors.